Attention shifts to COP28, the United Nations Climate Change Conference taking place in the United Arab Emirates this time. It's one of the major oil producers, so this is an ironical one, and it's not lost on too many people. Some reports accusing the United Arab Emirates of planning to use this platform to make oil deals as well. So what should one expect from this gathering, which of course will be attended by Prime Minister Modi as well, and what are the outcomes that India should expect? Let's find out where expectations are pegged. Dr. Kaviraj Singh is the Managing Director of Earthood Services, and he's joining us. Dr. Singh, you represent a group that works on education, advocacy and solutions to climate change. Now, this summit that's taking place in the UAE is taking place at a time when India is facing this unprecedented level of pollution, and it's happening in big cities, Delhi, Mumbai included. The concerns that the global north has had about developing countries like India to rein in our greenhouse gas emissions. India has been the voice of resistance when it comes to global south to demand. So do you think that stance will continue in COP28?
Oh, 100% yes. So I'm very excited about the next COP because of the following reasons. I mean, I have been attending all the COPs. The first one I did was Copenhagen in 2009. But this year, it looks slightly different than the previous ones because of the obvious reasons. And there are two main articles in the next COP, which is Article 6.2 and 6.4. So 6.4 essentially talks about the carbon offsets, means there will be a market-based trading of the GHG emissions. And India has been one of the biggest exporter of carbon credits. So most likely we would have the new regulations, new protocols, because United Nations, which is the regulator for Article 6.4 of Paris Agreement, is already done with the baseline additionality and other arguments of the fundamental questions of the carbon offset. And now just the heads of the state who are going to sign this particular treaty. And we are expecting that we would have the first project around Article 6.4 happening sometime towards the end of next year. Article 6.2, which is the trading between two countries among themselves, or maybe the group of countries. For example, if India and United Kingdom are doing the emission trading among themselves, so that's Article 6.2. So there are a couple of projects around Article 6.2 which are already happening. So that's the main point which is being debated right now. And I'm expecting that this COP is going to solve this problem of the emission trading at the international level.
Calling for concrete action when it comes to climate funding and transfer of technology. And at COP28, perhaps this could be the highlight, the need for funding and technology transfer for developing and emerging market economies. Do you see a move coming towards this at the summit, some kind of consensus building up on how climate financing should take place?
100%, yeah. So the developed world agreed to provide 100 billions of the fundings to the developing economies. And it has been shifted. I mean, the goalpost has been shifted in all the single COPs during the last 4 or 5 years after the Paris Agreement. So this is the time when people are talking about the action, because this has been going on for a while. I mean, COVID played a very negative role because the economies were struggling to deal with their personal problems. So the goalposts have been shifted again. But now, because we are not talking about the negativity around COVID and the impact on the economies. So I'm expecting that we would have better clarity and maybe some actions around the funding from the developed world to the developing economy. The other point you touched upon on the technology transfer, that is anyway happening because Government of India already pointed out 11 different sectors and technology. For example, hydrogen-based power generation. For example, solar thermal storage-based technologies. That's Article 6.2 technologies. So Government of India has a very clear stand, and our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, is acting as a leader for the developing economies. And I'm sure that we would have a more kind of situations and funding and everything which will go in India's favor and globally as well. We would have some solutions to deal with this problem of global warming and climate change.
Also tell us, because we touched upon this, that the summit this time is taking place at a Petro-state, at the United Arab Emirates. It's quite ironical. So can it shepherd the world towards a low-carbon future in a country where we are talking about them trying to push up the use of fossil fuels?
I think Middle East is the best place to have these conference of party meetings because of the obvious reason, because these are the countries where we generate the oils and exporting to the external world. And the other, the indications which are having from the market is that whether it's a UAE or Saudi Arabia, these people are already under tremendous pressure from the external world that what you are doing in terms of global warming or to address this problem of climate change. So I'm expecting more announcement. Obviously, UAE is going to launch its cap and trade program, nothing but a mechanism, a market where the countries and the economies and the industries will trade among themselves. I am also in discussions with some of the people from the government of Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia is also launching its own cap and trade. Qatar is anyway doing it. So definitely Middle East is the right place to have this COP, and there'll be more announcement, more pressure on the oil-based economies to cut down their GHG emissions. And Saudi Arabia and UAEs are anyway taking the lead.
Well, India has been insisting that it will have to rely on coal for power production for at least a decade and a half, and we generally find it unacceptable. Any demands of an immediate shutdown of our coal-fired power plants. We'll have to see how the world moves on its targets vis-a-vis India as well. And of course, COP28 is going to be very keenly watched. Dr. Singh, we wish you good luck at COP28 this time, and we will look at connecting with you with all that is achieved at this summit. Thanks very much for joining us on India Tonight.
Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Well,